Dating Over 50. Our next guest has advice on everything from navigating that first date to why you should treat online dating like a business, and even topics to avoid during that first phone call.
All right, Christiane Hile was 48 when her husband died unexpectedly, and they were deeply in love, but Christiane knew that she had to move on eventually. Her personal journey led her to writing this book. It's 1 + 1 is Greater Than 2, the online dating guide for women over 50. And we're excited to have Christiane join us now. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Hi.
Good morning.
Hi.
We were talking about women over 50 and, and the fact that I wonder how it felt at 48 or at the point when you started dating, if you felt old in the dating pool or if you felt like this is an exciting time in life, not that because of the situation you're in, but to meet someone new and have a new adventure.
I started dating when I was in my early 50s because I certainly took some time after my husband passed away. But I was very, very excited to try it because I saw the dating world, which had the benefit of the online apps, as a magical intersection between romance and technology. And since I'd been working in technology for 20 years, I knew the power of numbers and the opportunities by virtue of choices that I was now going to have. So I was very excited.
See, I like that. I think you have a good attitude, and that probably helped you in dating, because I think people have a negative attitude. It doesn't matter what age they are, they're going to struggle with dating. I'm sorry about the loss of your husband, by the way. I'm also impressed to hear you embrace technology, because I think especially for those of us who are 50 and older, online dating is different for us than it might be for people who are quite a bit younger than us.
You're right, and that's why I wrote the book. It is a very specific book aimed at people over 50 who are not digital natives, and it's meant to encourage them to be compassionate and to have fun, because women have never lived in a more exciting time than right now. Even women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. I did a lot of research for this book, and some of the women who were having the best time and felt that they were having the most success were actually in their early 70s.
Really?
Yes.
So question about this, because I know someone who's in their 60s and dating, and the tough part they were finding is that a lot of the men who were interested were much older and not as active, because she is in very good health and fit and able to move around. She wasn't finding people at the same physical level as her. Did you find any sort of age gap being an issue, or did that seem to work well for you?
It worked okay for me. I remember I made one adjustment. I have the opposite problem. I work out a lot, but I'm 20 pounds overweight. I was attracting marathon runners and mountain climbers, and I realized something wasn't working. So I went back to my profile and I took down the I work out 5 times a week part to I work out 2 to 3 times a week. And then I found that I was meeting men who were comparatively fit and also interested in outdoor activities. But I've heard from men that they have also challenges finding women who are sailors or skiers like they are, even at 70 or 60. I think it just comes down to pre-screening the people that you're connecting with online, and I have a lot of suggestions around how to do that rigorously before you spend your precious time on the dates.
Okay, I want to ask you a couple quick questions because we teased this. So first of all, what's a topic to avoid in the first phone call?
Well, one obvious topic is politics.
Yeah.
And I have friends who feel strongly one way or the other, and I always say, if you feel that strongly, you're eliminating half the male population.
Right.
So, you can touch on that towards the end of the conversation, but I would advocate not jumping out of the gate asking questions around political orientations.
Okay.
That's a great point.
What are some of the tips that work? Because, there's people at home just dying. They're waiting to hear.
Yeah. Well, my biggest tip is push to the phone and limit texting. So just generally, if there's one takeaway from my book, I've heard so many sad stories about women especially who've been texting for weeks, and then they find out that the person is either married, already in a relationship, or some kind of imposter. So what you want to do is absolutely limit that texting or digital exchange to 1 or 2 greets and maybe a hi, how are you doing? But push to the phone. Maybe you should call him so that you don't give out your phone number, and then have a 30-minute phone call validating the things that he said online or that he wrote about online.
Why do you think paid sites are so much better than the free ones?
So my philosophy is use at least one strong paid site. I know that all of us are excited to experiment with the free ones, and I met my sweetheart on a free site, but I stuck to the paid one because there's a higher threshold. There's a barrier to entry. You take out your credit card, make a commitment, and typically they require an extensive profile. So that means the other person has sat down and thought about what he's looking for, even if it sounds a little lame, walking on the beach, holding hands. But if he's written more than a couple of sentences, chances are he's serious. He's paid some money, he's signed up for 3 months or more.
Why do you say you should never reveal how long you've been dating?
It makes you sound a little tired. I think it's nobody's business, and people jump to conclusions that are unfair in many cases. So if you're looking for a particular kind of person, a niche person, whatever your hobby is, you've been dating for a year, maybe it took you a year to find your dating legs. You don't need to advertise that you've been dating online for a year or even 5. They don't know you. Let them learn you first, and then you can share.
I like that. We ran out of time, but just really quick, I want to ask you, are you remarried now?
I'm in a common law relationship, and we plan to get married at some point in the future. So yes, I feel like I found my committed sweetheart.
Good for you. And then the other thing I just wanted to ask you really quick is, are you a fan of being very clear about what you want, even writing down the qualities you're looking for in a person, even if it's just for you and not something you put all on your profile?
Yeah, it's critical. I do it every year. I update my goals, and I think when you're dating, you should be very, very clear about what makes your heart sing.
Yeah.
And don't not sacrifice what's settle. Don't settle.
Right.
You're
don't
a fan
settle.
of that too?
But be flexible. Some elasticity is required, and another philosophy I have is date people for at least 3 dinners and coffees, because often that gem is not going to shine on the first date.
My producer's mad at me because I go real quick, and then I asked you 4 questions.
We just needed more time
Thank you
with
so
you.
much.
That
It was just
fantastic.
so interesting.
My pleasure.
People can get a copy of your book at your website. It's ChristianeHile.com for more.
Great
Thanks
to
so
meet
much.
you.
That was
Congratulations
great.
too.
Thank you.